Hi, my name is Michelle. I am a social service worker with Saints Joachim and Ann Care Service. I was asked to talk to you today a little bit about one of the families that I worked with in this past year. The family that I chose to talk to you about is George and his two grandchildren, Allie and Alex. I was introduced to the family after getting a referral for case management as well as possible deposit assistance to see about rehoming the family as they were being evicted from their mobile home. When I drove up to their home the first time, because the family did not have transportation, so I had to do all of my paperwork at their home, I noted that they lived in one of the areas that we work in that is incredibly poverty stricken. Many of the families in this area do live well below the poverty guidelines for the US. I also noted that the mobile home that they were living in was in really bad disrepair. Skirting was missing from the bottom, there was windows that were out, the doors were hanging off by hinges where they were at. You could see tarp covering the roof in different areas. When I walked up the deck to get to the front door, I could tell that there was a lot of wood rot, there was lots of holes, and it was spongy. When I knocked on the door was opened, and the first thing I noticed was not George, who you would think that would be what you would see, was actually the smell that came out of the home. It was extremely pungent. It smelled like grease, cigarette smoke, urine. It smelled like septic system, like if you had a septic pond. It was a very strong smell, and it actually kind of took me aback. I went ahead and entered the home. I went to sit down on a couch, and I almost landed on Allie. She popped up and looked at me, pulled her long hair around her face and a blanket around herself, said hi, and then left to go to her room. As I was saying hello to Allie, on the other couch, another person popped up, and it was Alex, who was 13 at the time. He said hi, and then he asked me if I had brought any food. I had brought food with me because I'd heard that the family was dependent upon neighbors to bring them to the store to get food or to get to the pantries. I went out to my car, I brought in 2 emergency food bags that our pantry provides for us, and the kids dove into the cereal like they had not seen food in several weeks. It was bran flakes. It wasn't like I brought them Frosted Flakes, and it was powdered milk. So these kids were grateful that I brought it, and I was grateful that I was able to give it to them. While working with this family and in the home, as I was sitting there, my ankles were being chewed up by fleas. I could feel the bites. I could see cockroaches climbing on the walls. I could see them on the sink. I could see that the sink was full of dishes and that there were lots of gnats buzzing around in the kitchen area, especially near the fridge. Alex came out and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I picked up last night for you because I knew you were coming. What do you think?" And God bless him, I could tell that he had straightened up some books. You could tell that they'd been stacked neatly, that some blankets had been folded tidily in the corner. I told him I really appreciated his effort because I could tell that he had tried. A 13-year-old is not supposed to have to clean up for an adult to come visit. So I completed my paperwork with them, went back to my office, talked to my supervisor. We made a hotline report on the conditions of the home because it was not sanitary. It wasn't a safe place for the children to be, in my opinion. The report did get back to us from DFS. They said, at this point, we don't know that we need to visit, but we're gonna keep an eye on the situation, which I appreciated. I continued to work with the family, and at some point, Allie reported to her school counselor that she had been sexually assaulted by George's brother, her great uncle. At this point, DFS did become involved because Allie was under George's guardianship, as her dad and Alex's dad was in prison for drugs and weapon charges and was not going to be able to come home soon. And George was stating that he felt that Allie was lying. He didn't think that she was telling the truth. And so DFS became involved. I talked with their caseworker, described the situation that I had seen at the home, the smell of urine, the animal feces that I could see, and that there were rooms that I was not allowed into. So DFS went ahead, their caseworker went over, saw the conditions of the home, saw that the 2 bedrooms were basically where the animals had been allowed to use as the bathroom. Those were the kids' rooms. That's where Alex and Allie were supposed to be sleeping. And she pulled the children. The children were placed into the guardianship of their Aunt Debbie, and Debbie took guardianship of the children. Debbie had raised children, so she was familiar with teenagers and the angst that kind of come with them. Debbie was an amazing stabilizing force for the children. The home that she had was clean. It was sanitary. Alex told me that he was glad when he went to school that he didn't smell anymore. They had limited clothing, several outfits when I met them. So we made sure that we were able to connect Debbie to Mary Martha to help get clothing for the children. I was able to work with the St. Charles Business Women's Association. They provided household products that the addition of 2 teenagers are going to add to the home. They were able to help with clothing, again, for the children. We were able to talk to the children's teachers at the school to get them tested. And they both ended up getting some IEPs. We found out that Alex did have, I believe, dyslexia, which also helped them to get caught up to their peers. And that was a big step for both of them because they did not like school and now they enjoyed going to school. We were able to connect the family to Compass for their mental health care needs. Debbie was wonderful in making sure that the kids got to and from all of their appointments, their immunizations caught up, their pediatricians, well-child checkups caught up. Debbie also was able to get Allie to the child center and get her connected to the right resources to help her deal with the violation that she had suffered at the hands of her uncle. Long story short, we were also able to connect them to our No Hunger Holiday program, where an entire Thanksgiving dinner was provided from the Knights of Columbus. We were also able to connect them to our adoptive family program, which is the Christmas program that we provide here at St. Joachim and Ann Care Service. When I stepped back out of the picture, the kids were stably housed with Aunt Debbie. They were doing wonderful. Alex entered his freshman year in the high school, and Allie was entering her 8th grade year. Our goal here at St. Joachim and Ann Care Service is to ensure that the families we work with maintain safe and stable as well as sustainable housing, and that the children that we work with are in a great place.